Hey, what's up guys? It's Max. Welcome to the first video of 2019. I hope you had an awesome 2018 and let's rock the boots off of 2019. I want to help you do that. But the video you're about to watch right now is the first 90 minutes of We Live 18. What's We Live 18? We Live 18 is the Wholesaling Elite Conference that I put on in Charlotte, North Carolina last year in October. This is the first 90 minutes and I want you to enjoy it. Watch it and tell me what you like so much about the video. Timestamp it below and do me a favor. If you're not subscribed, please, I'm trying to get to 100,000. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and I'll see you guys in the next video. All right, so this is crazy. So the journey to be here is surreal for me. It really is. But before I get in that, I want to acknowledge what some of you, all of you, took to get here. I know that some of you guys had to weather the storm Michael. Who's named Michael in here? You gotta go, because I don't, what are you doing, man? Storm named Michael comes here, messes up. How many of you guys got delayed, luggage missing? Yeah, I appreciate every single one of you guys for what it did to get here. But you guys being in this room is giving you a different mindset already. You're already setting yourself apart from everybody else that's not in this room. Why? Because you decided to invest in yourself. All right. So let's go into this event. I mean, how many of you? Let's raise. How many of you guys have done a deal before? I like that. So why are you guys here? How many of you guys want to do more deals? Wait, I didn't see all the hands. How many of you guys want to do more deals? That's what I'm talking about. All right, so I know we got a little late start this morning, so let's get to it. So my goals for this event is for you guys everyone to completely understand wholesaling. How many of you guys 100% completely understand wholesaling? Yeah, me too. I don't understand it 100% either. I'm still working on it every single day, believe it or not. All right? And for anyone who has not got a deal, to get a deal in the next 90 days. If you've not got a deal, raise your hand. Don't be ashamed. 2 years ago, in about 2 years and about 14 days, I didn't have a deal. My first deal was September 28th of 2016 was my first deal. Okay? So don't be ashamed when I ask if you haven't had a deal, because there's many people in here that haven't had a deal. I want to make sure that everybody leaves here with an abundance mindset. That is the most important thing you can leave here with. Like, I brought you guys here, but the real true value in being here is 399 other people that are in this room. This is now your wholesaling real estate family. Right? Because you guys are going to support each other and hold each other accountable way after I leave here. Way after you leave here, you guys go back home Monday morning. You go back to your job. Your cousins and your moms and your aunts telling you that it's all a scam. Trust me. Okay? So we're going to talk about, what I'm going to talk about is the introduction to wholesale. Basics. I'll give you the overview of what wholesaling looks like. But before we get started, we want to talk about what's the definition of wholesale, right? It's to sell goods in large quantities at low prices to be retailed by other people. Does that make sense? So you're going to sell a good at large quantities, if you're good at it, at a low price to somebody else that's going to sell at retail. So you can wholesale anything, right? Those stands that are holding numbers on some of these tables, you could have wholesaled those. You could have went to China, source it, come back over here and sell it to a company that was going to put it retail on a shelf. But we decided to wholesale real estate. Why? The margins are bigger. Who likes money? Wait, that's it? Who likes money? And it's not really money that we like, it's the things that money allow us to do, not have to worry about, the freedom, right? The ultimate reason why you go after money is to do whatever you want to do with your time. How many of you guys miss work to be here? Raise your hand. That's an investing in yourself, right? But when you make money, you don't have to raise your hand when they ask that question, right? Because you're going to change your mindset. But before we get into wholesaling, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story, right? So you guys may watch me on YouTube and think you know everything about me, right? How many YouTube friends do I have in here? That's what I'm talking about. Let's keep growing that. That's amazing. Like November of last year, I had like 300 followers. And now we're at like we're 60,000 or something like that. Crazy, right? So I want to tell you guys a little bit about my life. So I was born in New York. Where's New York at? That's pretty weak. I thought you guys were going to bring it, you know, like people from the Brooklyn Bronx, y'all so loud. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my life. I was born in New York to two immigrant parents, right? My mom's right there. Two Jamaican parents. Hey, wasn't I a cute baby? I mean, I'm cute now, but wasn't I a cute baby? Look at that cowboy hat. I still have one now. So, you know, I was born to two immigrant parents. So I'm lucky. I'm lucky that I was born to be American. My parents sacrificed so they can come to America so I can have a better opportunity, right? I still go back to Jamaica. I have a house in Jamaica, and I have cousins and other family members that they don't have the same opportunities I have, right? So I thank my parents for that. So I want to tell you a little bit more about my life. So it's a little off, but we'll figure it out. So I played football in high school. That's me. Where's Tony at? You say anything about me being a punter, I'm going to punt your ass out of here, right? So I played football, and I was a wide receiver. So he was, see, here we go. Hey, mark his time off today. Whatever he's supposed to speak, mark it off. So I played high school football. But here's the thing. I was never able to play an entire season of high school football. You want to know why? My mom would tell you. I was a bad student. Not a bad kid. I was a bad student. Like in North Carolina, you got to have a 2.0 GPA to play sports. Guess who didn't have a 2.0 GPA? Me. So I was never, as soon as the semester came out, report cards came out, everybody got their report cards on Friday. Mine came out like the following week because I would hide it for a few days so I could enjoy the weekend, right? You guys did that. How many of you guys changed grades on your report cards? Man, I used to knew I was going to get it. You know, so I played football in high school, and I was a bad student, right? I couldn't get a 2.0 GPA. And then I figured out why. I was dyslexic. I can read or write backwards. Things were backwards to me. I see numbers backwards, letters backwards. Sometimes I still struggle with that today. I read my first book at 30 years old, from cover to cover. 30 years old, 3 years ago. So if I can do this, you know the end of the story, right? So I barely graduated high school. I remember my senior year at home, figuring out graduation was coming. Everybody was getting their caps and everything. And I was like, I don't even know if I'm going to graduate. To this day, I don't know how I graduated. I think they just wanted me gone. I'm being serious. I don't know how I graduated. So after being a poor student, was pretty good in football, couldn't qualify to go to college. Here he goes. See? Here he goes. I stole his number, by the way. When he left, I took his number. He was number 3, but I was the better number 3. You can look it up. I mean, it's not, I'm just making this stuff up. I mean, even though he did go on to play in the NFL, I couldn't play in the NFL because I had to go through the college system, you know? I would have been the best punter in America. Thanks, Scott. So, you know, when I realized that the college dream wasn't there for me, I was like, what am I going to do next? What do you do next after you can't go there?
Military.
That's right, Master Sergeant.
I got you.
I went to the military. Let's play this clicker. So that was me without a beard. How many of you guys seen me with a beard, without a beard before? That's me without a beard. And then they allowed me to get a beard after you get into some real, cool jobs. So yeah, that was me without a beard. Now, in the Air Force, it was fun, but I landed in Wyoming. That was bad. Who's been to Wyoming? Exactly. Exactly. They put a black guy with Caribbean roots in Wyoming. Why? And I wanted to go to Korea. So I went to Wyoming, did a couple jobs, and I got out of that active duty, and I was like, I'm done with this. This 24 grand, you know about that, Master Sergeant. This 24 grand, risking my life, ain't cutting it. I got to do something else, right? And leadership was poor anyways. So after completing my active duty term, I got home, and I was like, I'm going to be a real estate agent. Yep, I'm going to be a real estate agent. So I became a real estate agent, and I opened up my own property management company. Started doing property management, and I landed a big contract out of nowhere, right? I was managing a $3.5 million portfolio for one guy. He was about 85, 90% of my business. And you guys old enough to know what happened in 2008? It collapsed. The real estate market collapsed. The economy collapsed. I know you know, Mr. Robinson. You've been around the block a few times, right? So how many of you guys had businesses back in 2008? There's a lot of young people in here. Okay. Well, you guys know that it went down. So I lost everything. I lost everything. You know what? I was like, I'm young. I was 21 when I was a realtor. So you know what? Going to California. So I packed up everything on my Jeep Cherokee. It was a 2004 silver Jeep Cherokee that was ordered for repo. And I was like, they're going to find me in Cali. Getting out of here. I packed up my car. I hit the road. Hit I-40 36 hours straight. Boom, got to Cali. Slept in my car a couple days. Hit on my cousin. He played soccer out there. I said, I'm living with you now. I'm going to be a manager. So I bounced around in LA, enjoyed that life a little bit, and I got into marketing. And that was a cool gig. That was like my most recent job, marketing. I was doing marketing for a lot of big companies. And then I realized that I wanted to do something else. So what'd I do? The entrepreneur in me, I quit. Yep, went back home, 2015. And I started an app called FASPA, which was to help the marketing world with BAs, or brand ambassadors and all that stuff. Got a little bit of funding, and guess what happened? It failed, right? Us entrepreneurs know about that stuff. It failed. So I struggled, and then the aha moment came. I need to do something different. This time, me and Tony were just like broke. We were broke. You guys know what broke is? Like there's a difference between broke and broke. Right? You guys know what broke is? That's like negative dollars in your checking account. That was me. That was us. And I had the aha moment. And I was like, Tony, I don't know what we're going to do now, man. This is upside down. I don't know what we're going to do. I got a 2004 Volkswagen Jetta. It's got a bad starter on it. I'm not joking. I had a bad starter on it. So from 2015, so they did repo my Jeep, by the way. They did find me in California. just to put that out. So the Jeep's gone. So I got the 2004 Volkswagen Jetta, stick shift, bad starter. And every time you had to start, you had to knock it with the hammer. My mom knows. I was in the drive. I said, Mom, can you come out and knock this with the hammer for me while I start it? True story. She would knock the starter for me with the hammer, trooper, right? Start the car. All right, I'm on the way. Didn't have any money, negative accounts, never any money in my accounts. I had to keep the car running in some places, hoping somebody wouldn't steal it. I mean, nobody would steal the car. Because if I turned it off, guess what I had to do? Get somebody to knock on it with the hammer while I'm in the car. Well, I wasn't afraid to do it in front of my mom, but I wasn't going to be at the grocery store, at the gym. Like, hey, you mind knocking on that for me? It's the good-looking girls at the gym. You don't want to do that. So you keep your car running. Get a quick 60 minutes. Car's still there. No problem. So I'm like, Tony, we got to do something, man. You ain't got no money. I ain't got no money. We've been up. We've been down so many times. I was like, isn't your dad rich? That's what I said to him. Now, I've known Tony since, elementary school. Right? His dad used to hit on my mom back in the day. I remember. No, that's cool. I wasn't going to bring it up, but I'm bringing it up now. We used to play Pop Warner football and used to be at the top of the hill. So I said, this guy. No, now you remember, huh? Now you say, what is he talking? Now you remember. So me and Tony know each other for a long time, right? I used to picking boogers back in those days. And I said, isn't your dad rich? I said, I don't know. I don't know when he's rich. I said, let's go talk to him. We go over to the house. And his dad, his dad's got nice stuff, but he's always had a good job. We just never talked about that stuff amongst friends. And he said, we started talking, and he goes to this filing cabinet he's got in the house. I'm probably telling too much, but because he's a very discreet guy. He pulls out this, not a regular filing cabinet, one of these filing cabinets, right? And it's like 4 drawers deep. And he was like, yep, let me show you something. And he goes like, it does this every time. He holds the files and he goes, I own those. I own those. I'm like, what? And I just sit, I'm very quiet. When I don't know what I'm talking about, when I like to be the dumbest guy in the room, I'm sitting there and I'm like, just listening. I didn't say anything. I didn't react. I leave, go home. I didn't tell him nothing. I didn't tell him nothing. He said the word wholesaling. That's all he had to say. So I went home. My car wasn't running because I was cool with Tony knocking the hood to be able to get me go. So the car was off. I get in the car, Tony knocked the hood, I got to go. So he knocks on it. We get up out of here. I go home. He doesn't see me for 3 weeks. I literally subscribed to YouTube University. I got my bachelor's in 3 weeks. I got my bachelor's degree from YouTube University in 3 weeks. You know what YouTube University is? Yeah? No? You literally go on YouTube, you can learn anything you want to learn. This guy said wholesaling. I took it. I ran with it. So I did a juke. You guys know what a juke is? No, don't tell anybody. If you don't know, don't worry about it. No. So anyways, I had enough money. I bought 100 bandit signs, okay? I found money, did some things, right? Because I'm an entrepreneur. I can do some things on Craigslist to make some money. I bought 100 bandit signs, and I put them out wherever he had his bandit signs at. So Tony calls me. He was like, bro, my dad called me. He said, what the hell is Max doing? I said, what? He said, you got bandit signs all up and down Jonestown Road. I was like, what do you want me to do? We broke. He wasn't writing no checks when we was in the basement. So, 3 weeks in, I'm locked in. I'm listening to every podcast, YouTube. I cut off the radio. I'm upstairs in the same room from back in the day at my mom's house, not paying any rent, eating that good Jamaican food, getting fat, right? And I go out driving for dollars in an old neighborhood when we first moved to North Carolina in 1993. The same street I grew up on, Flintfield Drive, I find a house that's got tall trees, tall bushes, tall grass. And I still haven't told Tony anything. He don't know nothing. I call Bryce. Bryce is broke too at the time. We're all broke. He was broke with a dog though. That's different. You know when you got a dog and you're broke? That's real broke. You ain't eating, the dog ain't eating. Nobody's eating. So we would go to the dollar store, buy some dog food. You get a $1 bag. It's like 5 pounds of food. I don't even know if it's real dog food, but the dog looked happy. So we go driving around. I find this house, and it was literally like 10 houses up from where I grew up. So being a realtor in the past, I know to go on what we call geodata, or the tax information. So I go look it up, and it says something like, I forget what it says. Something heirs, like an old person's name, like Hazel. Hazel, anybody in here named Hazel? All right, so a whole old person's name named Hazel. I was like, dang, Hazel's heirs. Hazel's dead, right? So I don't know what to do at this point. I'm stumped. How many of you guys go drive for dollars and this dead person? Right? You're like, what do you do next? I go back to YouTube University, flip through my books. It's called probate. So guess what I do? I walk down to the probate office. Hey, I need a file for Hazel. Here you go. I forget her last name. She gave me the file. I opened up the file. Amy Honeycutt, cell phone number. Jackpot. So I go to my dad's restaurant at the time. It wasn't that great. The restaurant, not a lot of money. I go to my dad's restaurant. We're standing out front, me and Bryce. I make the phone call. Hey, Amy, this is Max. How you doing? I was driving through the neighborhood, seen a house. Wonder if you want to sell it. She said, actually, I want to sell it. I've been thinking about selling it. I said, great. What do you want for it? She said, I don't know. My husband works crazy hours over the road. I'll call you back in a couple days. Like, cool. That's not bad for the first call, right? I didn't know what to do. I didn't know objections. I didn't know how to push her at that point. She calls me back in 45 minutes. Well, my husband says we're interested in selling. Literally 45 minutes. I thought it was days later. I said, here's what I'll do. I'll give you $32,000 and I'll pay all the back taxes on it, equal to about 40 grand. She said, okay. Remember, I ain't got no money. I don't know what to do at this point. So what I do, go back to YouTube University. And I start watching. And they say, oh, you got to go get a cash buyer. So I meet her at a Waffle House, Salisbury, North Carolina, at an exit, had a one-page contract that I wrote that had misspellings on it. Yeah, I just found out I had misspellings the other day. Didn't nobody tell me. Whole year I was using that contract. Nobody told me. So I meet her there. She signs it. And we had a notary come out there. $5 for a notary. Boom, stamps it. I'm official. I got a contract. I don't know what to do. We drive back to the house. No, I drive back to my mom's house. Get home. Cut the damn car off. We put the lawnmower in the Jetta. Bryce knocks the hood. Start the car back up. We drive over there. We start cutting the grass of the house. He's cutting bushes. I take a picture of it. Facebook Marketplace. We're still cutting. 30 minutes later, car come by. This house for sale? Yeah. They come out. They look in the house. They come out. And he was like, oh, it's too much mess. We don't want to buy it. Okay. Another car pulls up. I'm like, get out of here. This stuff really works. Pulls up. May be interested. Then I call from a lady. Hey, my husband's a flipper. He's out of town, but I'd love for him to come see the house Saturday. Can he come Saturday? Sure, why not? The back door's open. Go in the back door. He goes to the house, looks in the back. He goes in there, he calls me. Hey, Max, this is Greg Pontillo. Remember, you never forget your first buyer or seller's name, ever. It's Greg Pontillo. How you doing? I'm good. I looked at the house. I like it. Can I bring my wife on Sunday? Why not? Get a call Sunday. Hey, she loves it. Can I buy it from you? Yeah. I said, give me, this is my first contract, by the way. I said, so you see the date, so you guys know I'm not lying. I said, give me, what's 56,000. He's like, how about 54? Great. No argument for me. I said, but Greg, I'm going to need, right, learn this from YouTube University, I'm going to need a $1,500 non-refundable deposit. No problem. Where you want to meet me at? The house. I need that gas money. Starter was like $125. Never got the starter for the car. But, so I made $14,000 on my first deal, 3 weeks. So I go from negative, thank you. So I go from negative, like, I don't know how or why Bank of America allowed me to go negative 500, but I love them for that. That money allowed me to drive for dollars. And because Bryce didn't have it. Matter of fact, his car was on repo too, wasn't it? Oh, you didn't want me to say that, huh? Yeah, no. I'm telling the truth, man. We've been down, we've been up. So, you know, I made 14 grand in the first 3 weeks. Why? I had to. How many of you got to make money in the next 30 days? Right? So I had to. One, I'm living in my mom's house, upstairs. I can't bring girls home. I need money. She's Jamaican. She don't play that. You're not bringing no girl over her house. So I need to get out of there. But I stayed there for a whole nother like 9 months, right? And me and my mom talk every day. I didn't tell her what was going on to the T, right? She's my #1 supporter. In that upstairs room, I made over $800,000 over the next 9 months. 9, 10, 12 months. Forget what it was. And then I went and got me a place. So the reason why I wanted to tell you all of that, because if I can do it, you can do it too. Really, there's nothing special about me. You're looking at a guy that can't hold a 2.0 GPA, right? Dyslexic, first generation American. Parents don't have any money. I'm just like you guys. The only thing changed for me in the last 2 years was in between my 2 ears. That's what he likes to say all the time. In between my 2 ears, right? So I wanted to start that out by saying that there's nobody that has an excuse as to why they can't make it. Nobody. As long as you have the will to make it, you can do it. Right? But it's going to start with you and what's between your ears. All right? So let's get to business. Let's talk about some wholesaling stuff. Right? So what I want to say about wholesaling is don't make it complicated. Don't make it complicated. It's real easy. We get a house under contract for a discounted price, which gives us equitable interest. And then we sell the contract to somebody else that's going to do what with it? And sell it for retail. The definition of wholesaling. Right? So we're going to go over the nuts and bolts of a wholesale deal. Okay? So we're going to talk about finding properties, running comps, right? Because you got to know the numbers, right? Numbers are important. We're going to talk about contracts. Contracts is what gives us equitable interest. Equitable interest is only in countries that abide by common law, right? So if you're in a common law country, you can get equitable interest. We're going to talk about negotiating with sellers, finding cash buyers, and closing the deal with title companies or attorneys, depending on what state you're in. I don't know how my slide got cut off, guys. This is my first time. Don't blame me. All right? So we're going to first jump into finding leads and deals. How many of you guys struggle with finding leads and deals? A lot of you guys, right? That's the bottleneck that most people go through, is finding the leads. So what type of leads do we go after? We go after situational distress or life situations, right? Life events. My mom she hasn't put her phone, I don't know how her hand is not tired right now. She has not put her phone down. Don't worry, Mom. I bought cameras. They're recording this. And then there's going to be something after this, okay? I'll send it to you. Put your camera down. I know your hand's tired. So, things that create situational distress. New jobs. Sometimes you got to get up and leave. You plan to be in this house for 30 years. You get a job opportunity in Texas, and you got to go. Call me. I'll buy it. You got medical bills. How many of you guys have got sick and got unexpected medical bills and your life turns upside down? Nobody in here? It happens. It's a very common American thing. And death. People die every day. And they die with houses and assets that their family members don't want. Another one is divorce. Right? What's the #1 reason for divorce? Marriage. Marriage. The answer is marriage. You better not be laughing, Brian. Your wife's over here. Where's she at? I see her over there somewhere. You better slow down, man. I'm single. I can do that. Absentee owners. Those are people that have 2, 3, 4, 5 houses and they don't live in them. So we call them absentee. Right? How many of you guys have been absent from school? I know I did a lot. Absentee school is what I was. And then there's many more personal other reasons. There's just a lot of stuff. So, and then you got what they call physical property distress, when the property itself is distressed, right? You're talking about like tall weeds and grass. Remember my first deal, Flintfield? Had tall weeds, tall grass, tall bushes. Nobody was keeping up with the house. And then you have this thing called code violations. How many of you guys know what code violations are? Right? Code violations is when the city says your house is messy or unsafe or you're doing things that are against. You can have, like in our city, if you have indoor furniture on the front porch, it's a code violation. Yes, we're in the South, man. We like to sit on our porches and hang out, okay? And then you just got plain old run-down properties. How many of you guys have seen run-down properties in neighborhoods you're in? Even your own neighborhood. It's like, man, you've seen it so much you don't see it anymore, right? It becomes a blind spot for you. People hate those things in the neighborhood. Then you just got plain old fixer-uppers. Things that are outdated. Things that are just, you know, just not working. And then you got boarded up houses. How many of you guys got boarded up houses when you drive your route to work, home, all those places? We were in the Elite one yesterday. I'm trying to remember who it was. They got a boarded house in Atlanta and made so much money. Who was it? I don't remember. Okay, you don't want to be shy? Okay, fine. All right, never mind. So these are more reasons. And then other reasons is financial distress. The reason why I'm pointing these things out, these are things that you go after. Because as a wholesaler, you're really not in real estate. You know that, right? Anybody tell you that? You're really not in real estate? Did nobody tell you that? I know you know. You're a problem solver. You just happen to be solving problems in real estate. And to solve those problems, you're going to make some money. Okay? So what type of problem? Let me go back to my first deal. What type of problem was she in? I missed a few things. One, we know that the property was physically distressed, right? So she was in one of the buckets. We know that she had back taxes. So she was in financial distress. And we know that somebody died and she inherited that property. So that was on the last slide. So she was in 3 different buckets. So she would have showed up on 3 different lists if you'd have been pulling these type of lists, if you know how to get them. That's important. So if you can guess what my business for the next year was circled around, what do you think it was? Probate and back taxes. And that's how I made my first $1 million. Just on those 2 things alone. So other financial distresses are bankruptcy. Right? How many people know people that went through bankruptcy? Right? That's a common thing in America. What about foreclosures? Right? It's picking up. I don't know if you guys noticed, but it's picking up. More foreclosures are coming. Okay? And then those pesky IRS liens. Pay your taxes, people. And then people lose jobs. You have a 2-household income. They get a house that's slightly above their means. One person loses a job, and now they can't even come close to making the mortgage. You're solving a problem. Okay? So that's how we talk about finding leads and deals. Another thing that people struggle with is knowing the numbers. How many of you guys have problems with pulling the numbers? Oh, so we got a lot of, more hands? No, that's it? How many of you guys know how to properly run a comp? Wait, so that's backwards. How many of you guys don't? That's what I want to see because you're all here to learn. So the word comp came from comparables, and you realtors know this. The comparables came from a CMA, which is a word we use when I was an agent. It means comparative market analysis. Big long word. And this is a definition from the Association of Realtors, right? A comparative market analysis is an examination of the prices at which similar properties in the same area recently sold. Real estate agents perform CMAs for their clients to help them determine a price for when listing a home or a price to offer, make an offer, right? So there's a couple places to get these numbers of the sold homes. One is MLS. Agents have MLS, right? Get friends with a couple agents, pay them a couple bucks, they're all broke, and they'll get you CMAs, okay? I promise you, I used to be one. Zillow. If you're in a disclosure state, Zillow will tell you every house around there that got sold. Redfin, I use Total View Real Estate in my office, right? So this is important, knowing your numbers. Okay, so this is another topic we're going to cover while we're here. Another one is contracts. How many of you guys got good contracts? Right, we're going to try to fix that over the next couple of days. We're going to tell you the basics of what a contract needs to protect you so you don't go over your head, right? Some simple things that a contract needs is price, right? The closing date, obviously, right? The price you purchased the house for and when it's going to close. An earnest money deposit, simply something that you're going to give to the closing company or attorney to say, hey, I'm serious, start escrow, start doing the title search. And then a due diligence fee. It's very important. I give due diligence fees on every single house that I put under contract. Why? Because my due diligence is my period to get out of the contract when I don't want it anymore. How many agents do we have in here? Right? So you agents are going to know what I'm going to say. How many times have you written a contract or have you accepted an offer and the deal falls through? How common is it? Very common. So us as wholesalers don't understand that deal. Every time you put a house under contract, you necessarily don't have to close because in the contract gives you time to inspect or time to find out, do your due diligence to see if you really want it or you can go to renegotiate. That's very important. Some people teach to put very sloppy ways to get out of contracts. And I just started paying $100 and get a due diligence fee, which makes it clear and on the table. And then there's an inspection period clause. Sometimes you can tell the seller, hey, look, give me 10 days. I want to bring some of my contractors in here to make sure that you and I didn't miss anything so that I'm not buying a house that has no foundation or there's black mold and I can't get rid of, right? So your contract is what creates equitable interest, okay? Equitable interest is what gives you the ability to make money. Why? So let me give you an example. How many of you guys are actively right now searching for a car? You're car shopping, okay? Just a few of us, right? So if I pulled out front in a 2018 S550 blacked out Mercedes, nice one, right? Brian, you know what I'm talking about. You got one. 2018. And you pull up and I say, you know what, guys? I'm starting to talk and I say, I want to sell this car for $35,000 cash by Friday. I'm getting a divorce. I'm losing my job. And I want to relocate. I want this thing free and clear. And I bought this thing when I was winning. Now I'm not winning and I want to sell it. How many of you guys would say, I'll buy it? 35,000, 2018. All it's got is a crack in the windshield and some bald tires. Y'all still gonna buy it? How many of y'all got 35,000 cash to buy that car right now? So there's less hands up. Why? Because you know that that car is worth more than 35,000. And you know you can find somebody else that would pay for it more, even at wholesale, to put it on their car lot, Craigslist, eBay, to get the true value of that thing and maybe sell it at a discount at 90 grand. So don't make this complex. It's the same thing. We're just doing it with houses. Right? It's not complex. We're doing the same thing. We're doing it with houses. So don't make it complicated like I said in the beginning.
Okay? We're going to talk about negotiations. Next slide. Oh, that's the wrong button. That was a laser. I'll point y'all a laser. How y'all doing? I didn't even see the laser on here. That's pretty cool. Let's talk about negotiations. This is what we're going to be talking about. Tony, the closer, is going to be talking about talking with sellers. Christina is going to be talking about talking with sellers, right? Because talking with sellers is how you get the contract. And you got to do what? You got to build trust and be the expert when you walk in this house. You got to learn common objections and never be a desperate buyer and have a wealthy mindset when you walk into the house. Because the same people that said they would buy that car that don't have the money is the same attitude you want to have when you walk in that house to put it under contract for $100,000 and you know you only got $100 in the bank. Because we know how to do. That confidence, people smell it, people see it, they trust you, you become the expert, and that's what we are. We're experts. We solve problems and we make a lot of money doing it. We're going to go over cash buyers. Now that you got that car, now you got that Mercedes, now you got that house, who are you going to go see? If you got a Mercedes for 35 grand, who are you going to go see? Who are you going to go call? A used car dealer. Man, I see you on the lot selling them cars for 90 grand. I got one for 45. It's the same thing. You're going to call flippers. I see you in the neighborhood flipping. I saw you saw that house for 180. I'm going to give you this house for 90. So I'm going to show you, we're going to show you, the speakers are going to show you how to find cash buyers locally. We're going to show you how we send out deals to buyers. You're going to see Scott Oates' whole business. You guys seen Scott when he's here? You know how much money Scott's doing every year in wholesaling? $4 million. So when I made the promise to you guys, because one thing I didn't mention is you guys bought tickets to this event not knowing who was going to come speak. This event sold out, and you didn't know who was going to come speak, so it was my responsibility to bring people here that I know do this business, right? You might go to other seminars and other conferences, and you're going to see a bunch of speakers that are professional speakers. They make their money by speaking. They make their money by teaching you how to do something they don't. Those are called gurus. Everybody I brought here today is a guru because they do it. We're also going to talk about assignments. How do you get your money? And how to raise money from other people and make even more money. Okay? We're going to talk about getting paid. Who likes to get paid? I know I do. We closed on a house yesterday. I made 19 grand. Yeah, I'm feeling good. We just bought it last week. Okay, we're going to talk about the contracts with the sellers, assignments with the buyers. We're going to talk about title search. What's included? What's part of that? Okay? We're going to talk about the HUD, the paperwork, the deed, all these words you guys probably have no idea what they mean. We're going to talk about wholesaling over the next couple days. Right? So let's go over the flow of a deal. Right? So the seller, let's call the seller, what was her name? Hazel. You guys paying attention. So little Hazel calls me, says, hey, I want to sell you my house. I said, yep, I want to buy it. We put a purchase contract under the contract. So now I have what? When you have a contract to the house, you have what? Yes. You guys are listening. This is what I couldn't do in high school. I couldn't listen. So you guys are listening. And then you go out and you find the cash buyer, and you and the cash buyer get what? Assignment contract. Why? Because that Mercedes-Benz is so cheap. He says he's going to meet you here next Friday with the 45, and you told the car owner you're going to meet him here at the same time Friday with 35. That's an assignment. You're going to take the assignment contract and the other contract. You're going to run down to the title company, and what you're going to do, you're going to give them both contracts and say, let's get rocking. And then once that's executed, you and the seller get the money. The seller gets the money you promised her, so Hazel's good, and I'm good. And that came from the title company, right? So, how long have I been here? I can go for hours. All right? So let's break down my first deal, and then we're going to move on to the next person. Okay? So this is my first deal, 114 Flitfield Drive. We got the source driving for dollars, but then we found out she was on the tax delinquent list and the probate list. And what do? We got on a contract for 40, and we did an assignment fee for 14, all in 5 days. From the day we signed the contract to the day we assigned it was 5 days. And the closing happened like 4 days later. So all in all, I probably put about 5 hours worth of work, made 14 grand. How many of you guys get paid about $2,000 an hour at your job? Nobody? You do now, right? Right? $2,000, that's cheap. Sometimes I don't get out of bed for that. Okay? So we're going to move on to the next speaker. And I really appreciate you guys being here. My heart's still pounding. After all this whole hour on stage, it's still pounding. I'm just excited to see every single one of you guys, and I want to change lives. Okay? I want you guys to go out there and make some money. So I think the next speaker, if I'm pulling from memory correct, he's going to be Victor Moss. Right? So Victor is from San Antonio. And you know, when I started to go to YouTube University and I got my bachelor's degree, I went to Facebook University and started my master's. And while I was there, Victor Moss was there. And I'm very observant. I watch people and what they do, and I'm attracted to certain people and I'm not attracted to most. And Victor was doing things differently. He has a very different mindset when it comes to wholesaling. He talks about the small granular things you can do to make a lot of money. And that's why I seeked out every single speaker individually. And Victor, here's the thing, Victor's not like me. He's not like me. Victor doesn't do 100 deals a year. Victor might do 12 or 15. Each deal's 50, 60 grand though. And his overhead's pennies. Right? So I'm not just teaching you what I do and how I do it. I also want you to see other successful people in this business that I know got the dough. Right? So am I on point to bring Victor on? We good? You guys good? So once again, I really appreciate everybody being here. I'm probably going to say it 100 more times before the weekend is done. And I want to shake every single person's hand in there and thank them for coming before you guys leave. Okay? So are we ready for Victor? Where's Victor Moss? You guys give Victor Moss a round of applause.